Since the moment Brandin Cooks entered the NFL draft, he has been linked to the Eagles. Could this finally be the year he comes to Philly?
Still the cowboy, Mr. McLean. You Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole!
Oh, Diva! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy!
Happy trails, Hans.
Dallas still stinks. Everybody doing? King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Do you know we enter another week in which the Eagles have yet to sign one free agent on the offensive side of the ball? Not one. It's kind of crazy. I never thought we would go this long without signing anybody. Now I get, you want to draft your receivers. Maybe there's no running backs you like. But what about offensive linemen? I mean, we need some help on the interior offensive line, and we have brought in nobody. I'm a little bit shocked by it. I think the Eagles must have something up their sleeve in order to go this long without addressing offense. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, no doubt about it. And we hear a lot about all these different wide receivers that could possibly be traded, and a lot of them are true. They're getting shopped around, but over the last few days, it's gotten to the point where people are just throwing names of guys who have no business being shopped. Teams are not going to trade. They're young. They don't get paid a lot. And they have to be in teams' long-term plans. And they're being put out there like, oh, the Eagles could trade for this guy. They could trade for this guy. It's not going to happen, okay? If you're young and you don't make a lot of money, the chances are the team's going to keep you, especially when you're a pretty good wide receiver, okay? But there are some names of guys who legitimately could be traded. And one of the big names going around today, and we've talked about him last week as well, is Brandin Cooks. Brandin Cooks is getting shopped. And he most likely will not be with the Los Angeles Rams next year. No doubt about it. And he's already tweeted, somebody come free him from the Rams. He wants out. And when you look at the Eagles and you look at Brandin Cooks, I mean, there's a history there of the Eagles being interested in this guy. He has been linked to the Eagles since the day he came out to enter the NFL draft. I mean, I thought we were going to draft him in the first round when he came out. The Saints drafted him. He plays 3 years there. I think he had 1,000-yard seasons. I think every year he played with them, maybe not his rookie year, but he had 3 or 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons, okay? So he's with the Saints, then he's going to get traded. The Eagles are linked as the top favorite to trade for him. He ends up going to the Patriots. Now, I personally wanted him back then. I thought he was the move to get. I actually wanted him over Alshon Jeffrey. For right or wrong, that's what I wanted the Eagles to do. However, he goes to the Patriots. He plays there. He ends up going to the Los Angeles Rams. And now he's going to be on the move again. Now, the problem with him, in my opinion, is his contract. I think he's like $12 million against the cap. Actually, if you were to trade him, I think you would have to take on $12 million of like $16 million against the cap that he is. So he's a little bit expensive. He's had 5 straight, or not 5 straight, but he's had 5 concussions in his career. That's a lot of concussions, and once you start getting repeats of concussions, a lot of times you keep getting them. Now, Peter King today, okay, and we all know who Peter King is. He's very reputable. He was putting out stuff about DeAndre Hopkins possibly getting traded. I did a video on it. Later that day, boom, DeAndre Hopkins is traded. So he kind of has a feel for when somebody is going to get moved or not. And he basically put a list of who he thought the most likely teams to get Brandin Cooks were, and the Eagles were number 1. Then I believe it was the Green Bay Packers, the Raiders, and the Redskins. So those were the 4 teams most likely to land Brandin Cooks. Now, here's my problem with what Peter King said, when it comes to Brandin Cooks. He was saying the Eagles would have to give up a second-round pick. A second-round pick for Brandin Cooks? I'm not doing it. But that's what he was saying it would cost the Eagles, their second round pick. He is only 27 years old. He's going to be 27 years old. But like I said, he's making a lot of money. He's had a lot of concussions. And I would not give a second round pick for Brandin Cooks. I'm sorry. But that's what Peter King is saying, that it would cost the Eagles, somewhere around there. And I think that's way too much. Okay, if I'm going to go out and get Brandin Cooks, I'll give you a 5th round pick for him. I mean, that's how far off I am from what Peter King is saying. I'll give you a 5th. I am not giving you a 2nd. I am not giving you a 3rd for a guy that has that many concussions, okay? I like Brandin Cooks' talent on the field, no question about it. And if you added him to the Eagles offense, he would fit perfectly because he's a vertical threat, and that's what the Eagles need. But I can't give up a 2nd round pick. I would take my chances. Even though Howie Roseman doesn't always do a great job drafting, or doesn't do a great job at all drafting wide receivers, okay? So I would have to take a chance on a 2nd round wide receiver in the draft, somebody who could come in, be with us a long time, who's younger, who hasn't had all the injuries, and who's cheaper. I would do that and take a chance on that before I would Brandin Cooks, because I'm going 1st round wide receiver, 2nd round wide receiver. So I would not give a 2nd round pick for Brandin Cooks. There's just no way. Now, if you want me to give, a 5th round pick, I'll do a 5th round pick, because I'm going to have to eat $12 million in that salary. I think he's $16 million, his cap hit, but I think the Rams would have to eat $4 million if I'm correct. There's a $8 million base salary and then like a $4 million signing bonus or guaranteed money. I don't know how it is, but it comes out to about $12 million against the cap for the Eagles. That's a big chunk of change of what we have, which is I think we have like $25 million left under the cap, $23 million on the cap. So that would be a big hit. So I'm not giving up a 2nd round pick for him. Now, I'm all for going out and getting him for a 5th, but that's it. I can't go higher. I can't go lower than that. I don't even want to give up my 4th round picks for him, okay? I'll trust that the Eagles keep their 2nd round pick, figure out a way in the 1st round to trade up, get one of those top 3 wide receivers, come back in a 2nd round, take another receiver, and then go from there, okay? If you want to give me a 5th round pick for him, fine. If you'll take him for, a 5th round pick and Rasul Douglas, I'll do it. Maybe a 4th, maybe my last 4th at the most, depending upon how things shake up. But Brandin Cooks is a guy I believe the Eagles are legitimately interested in. I think that his name has always been linked to the Eagles. They definitely were trying to talk to the Saints when he was getting traded. They didn't pull the trigger. I think the Patriots gave up like a 1st round pick, okay? Then, we were interested going into the draft, but the Eagles, I think they waited too long, and I think the Saints jumped them and drafted him. So to me, you have to give the right amount for him. You have to give no more than a 5th round pick if you want him. But I do believe the Eagles are interested, only because they've been interested since the day he came out. So I know the Eagles are going to talk to the Rams. I know they're going to discuss it. I just don't want them to give up a high draft pick. And if they can do that without giving up a high pick, I'm all for it. Otherwise, I keep my pick and I wait until the draft. That's how I see it. What do you guys think? Would you trade a 2nd round pick for Brandin Cooks? I sure the hell wouldn't. Would you trade anything for Brandin Cooks? I think he's worth like a 5th round pick. I'd take a flyer on that. I may give a 4th round pick next year, but I'm not giving up a lot. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, and don't be a dingbat.